What's going on YouTube? My name is BluePaw and today we're playing some Pokemon Showdown, doing some RNG battling. How are you today? I hope you're doing good. In fact, let me know in the comments one good thing that's happened in your day. It can be anything. It can be that you had a tasty breakfast, or you won the lottery and now you're a millionaire. I'm not picky. I just hope you're having a good day. Anyway, let's get to the battle. So I led off with Prickles, my Jolteon, because I saw at Team Preview had no ground types. That's 3 Volt Switches for me all day long. This Ghost type is normally quite physically offensive, so Blood, my Eviolite Golbat, can take anything he wants to throw at me. Turns out he's a Trick Room team, which I haven't got much of a problem with. I went straight for the Toxic and got hit by a Will-O-Wisp in return, but to be honest, I want my Golbat Will-O-Wisp if anything. I then decided to switch into my Cloyster because it has a nice Dark Pulse for this Cofagrigus and doesn't like it's going to do much. He actually switches himself into a Bronzong, which is great for me because this does not want to take a Dark Pulse, especially from a Life Orb Cloyster. He goes and sets up his rocks, and I put him down to 30% with a nice little Dark Pulse, which is great, good damage. I just hit Dark Pulse again because nothing on his team really wants to take it. He decides to switch out into Cradily, questionable play because he still takes a hell of a lot of damage. And then I have an Aura Sphere for this Cradily, which is going to one-shot, which is great. So Cloyster picking up the first kill of the game, nice and easy. After seeing Dark Pulse and Aura Sphere, my opponent decides to bring in a Blastoise, which pretty much walls Cloyster. I switch out into Apple Pie, my defensive, especially defensive Uxie, gets hit by a Toxic, which isn't the best, but this looks like a defensive Blastoise. I just go for my Stealth Rocks. Luckily he goes for Protect, trying to stall me out, didn't work too well for him. And then I haven't got a whole lot for this Blastoise except just hit it with a knockoff. He decides to switch and takes a super effective knockoff with his Cofagrigus, which I have no problems with. Toxic damage racks up as well, which looks like most of my team can just hit it out with a single move. I go for a U-turn here just to get a bit of extra damage and to get a more favourable matchup for me. My Apple Pie gets bounced back and I send out my Cloyster again. This Cloyster pretty much threatens his entire team as my opponent sets up the Trick Room for the second time. He sensibly stays in and goes for a Hex for some chip damage on my Cloyster as I take out his Cofagrigus with a Dark Pulse. So now my opponent only has 4 Pokemon left and I'm still strong with 6, doing good. Then I got scared. Mega Camerupt comes in, and with the Trick Room up, it outspeeds everything on my team, so yay. I decided to bring in Apple Pie, hoping to take a hit and draw out the Trick Room a bit more, and somehow I tanked an Eruption with 7% HP. It also means that I can live another hit, which is great, despite toxic damage, and he proceeds to take me out with another Eruption, but the important part is that I drew the Trick Room out for an extra 2 turns. I then send in Boots, my MVP, and smack this fat camel with a Life Orb Fake Out, doing a clean 32%. Then the Trick Room finally wears off, and I can safely U-turn out to save Boots for another day. At this point I had to decide which member of my team was least important, as someone had to die. I decided it would be Blood, my Golbat, but also there was an off chance that the Camerupt would go for an Earth Power, which would be immune on the Golbat. I got really lucky and this was the case. Expecting a Toxic, the Camerupt then switched out, but I didn't go for Toxic, I went for Roost, tricking my opponent. So this Golbat that I sent in to faint actually started doing work. Despite this, Golbat really can't touch Bronzong, so I had to switch anyway. I decided to go into Chance, my Scrafty, to try and maybe set up some D-Dances or just kill it with a Crunch. On the switch in, the Bronzong made a very smart play and went for the Trick Room, which meant that on the next turn it could outspeed me and get a bit of chip damage in with the Gyro Ball. Despite this, I smacked him in the face with the Crunch. Next came Druddigon, and Scrafty just didn't want anything to do with this Druddigon. He was like, nope, out of here. I switched in Golbat, seeing as it was going to do some work. I thought I'd give it a shot. There was a pretty good chance that Eviolite Golbat can take 2 Dragon Claws from a Druddigon, but because of the burn, it meant that it was pretty much switch fodder, which I didn't mind because my original plan was to kill off Golbat. At this point, Boots pretty much was able to clear up the game, just with a Fake Out and then a double hit on this Druddigon was all it needed to take it out. So Boots pretty much came in clutch in this game. After the Druddigon goes down, my opponent sends in Mega Camerupt, but I think he sees that there's no real way to win this game and concedes. And that just about wraps up the game for us. I want to thank you for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe down below if you enjoyed. If you didn't, then feel free to leave a comment telling me how I can improve. And yeah, peace.